Hello, YouTubers. Hello, subscribers. I hope that you're having a lovely Friday. Little bit is taking a nap. I wish I was. I got my trying to be cute ghetto with nails broken and all of that, but we're dealing with it. I am going to get them cut. I am going to get them square, and they're going to be beautiful. But they're easy to move around, changing her diapers, changing her clothes, and it works perfectly fine. Every now and then I may misjudge a moment and I'll hit it on something and my whole nail will just split into two. And it'll cut right in the middle of my nail and it's very painful. And it happens a lot. Things we do to look cute. Listen, let me move on with that. She sleep, da 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 da. But light, yes. I have a whole show on transgender and what I think about it, and I probably do another video. I'm not going to discriminate against you because you're different. I'm just not. I'm not going to discriminate against you because you want to be different. I think that says it all. Let's get to Harry, okay? Let's get to Harry. Oh my God. So I wasn't going to do a video today. I always want to take a break. That's what I tell myself, right? I'm going to do all this. We're going to do this, and I'm going to get the house and all this stuff I'm going to do to the house. That's not happening. But I am having a party soon, and you would call it dinner party. I would call it they're coming over to see the house or a get together. I'm not ready. Harry. So I listened to the Tom Bradby video interview from the beginning to the end. And this was my first time listening to the entire thing. And I wanted to apologize to you guys right now for not doing that earlier. I learned so much about Harry and his feud and the things that he's going through. And I saw Meghan in it for the most part, but I saw someone rehearsed in Meghan. That he has become this new person since he met her. We know that. But I saw some pictures over there at Sue's. Harry doesn't look good. He looks disheveled. He looks sad. He looks like he's not really here and he's just going through the motions. And when we see him at the coronation, which I hope we get it, well, I get to see, that that he's not himself. And that he was really, this woman really brainwashed him into believing that his family was the enemy. But even though as he's sitting there talking about his family, you could tell Harry is still in love with his family. Because he says that he still wants a relationship with William. He loves his father. He loves his brother. He loves his country. He says it. But then in the same breath, he turns around and he talks about the very thing that he loves. And Tom, it's like, why would you do this? And you know what? Honestly, I said some things about Tom Bradby, and I do apologize for that. Because he is the only one that challenged Harry. He's the only one that asked the hard questions. He's the only one that made the interview what it was. Interesting. So Harry starts off, he's running for his life. That's what I wrote down. Harry is running for his life. He's running from his family. And he's talking about his family as though they're the enemy and they have betrayed him, and that the only way that he can survive is coming to America. Yeah. Then he starts off with Tom Bradby, and he tells him, he says, there is nothing there will be nothing that is going to keep me or turn me against my family. He didn't say that, but he was trying to. This is what he says. It's nothing I've done will ever turn me away from my family. I love my family. I love Charles. I love William. He goes down the list, which tells me that he wants to set the tone that I love my family no matter what I said in the book, no matter what I'm doing over here. And he refers to Great Britain, the UK, as his country. His country. Which tells me Harry's mind is still in the institution and still at home with his family. So as much brainwashing as Meghan tries to do, Harry is trying to hold on to his family, regardless if he is in the news and is in Spare. He's saying that nothing. He says that on Tom Bradby. I thought that was interesting. You let me know. Let's move on. And then he goes on to say, let me pause it. Okay. So Harry starts talking to Tom Bradby, and he tells him that, you know, he really felt his family was being attacked by his own, by William and Charles and his family, his royal family, not his new family. Because he tells Tom Bradby, he says, this is such a cute top. I want you guys to see it. It's so cute. Anyway. So Harry tells Tom that there's an attack on his family from his family, the British people, and the press are after him. He says he's terrified. He is scared, which doesn't make sense, Harry, that you would be scared of something that you've been living with and doing for all your life until this woman comes in your bedroom and tells you what to say. That you're scared of your family and you're scared of the press. You were scared. He says that he was scared and that he had to leave. That doesn't make sense to me. Let's move on. But William tells him, he says, brother, you're being paranoid. Harry tells us, he says, they just kept telling me I was being paranoid. You were. Meghan was allowing you to do that. And they were telling him, don't buy into that. Don't listen to that. Let's move on. But then Harry goes into the leaking and the planting of stories. And that's not what happened. Because there wasn't leaking and planting anything. The stories were there for the press availability. They had it. They didn't need anything to leak. What? That she was being a bully? Oh, okay, so the courtiers didn't tell her, hey. No. Let's move on, guys. Then he says, this was interesting, is when Harry tells us that the world, everyone around him, is telling him that if it was them, that they would never speak to their family ever again the way that the royal family had treated them. He says, everyone's saying, how could you ever forgive your family for what they have done to you and your wife? This was after Spare. This is Tom Bradby's book. He says that. So he's got people around him like Oprah and Tyler Perry and the rest of the A-listers telling him, hey, Harry, how could you ever, because Tyler Perry immediately disses the Queen and the family on the docuseries and say that he would never visit there and that he was upset because they kept making them off their security. He was concerned. So you have to assume that Tyler Perry told Harry, the people around him, everyone was saying, how could you ever forgive your family for what they have done? It's the other way around, Harry. You're the traitor. And Tom challenges Harry. He says, Harry, you're the one coming out talking about your family and saying this and, talking to, he breaks it down. We're going to keep going. Let's keep going. So Harry wants us to believe, because I believe Meghan and Harry thought that we were going to feel sorry for them. Remember, I always say that they wanted us to feel sorry for them, and that, oh, what a bad family. See, they're racist. They almost made Meghan kill herself and the baby. Because Harry doesn't talk about the press as much as he talks about his family most to Tom. It's the family. When Meghan went on that African safari talking about no one was concerned about her, she was talking about the family. She wasn't talking about how the press was bad. No. Meghan was talking about the family. She didn't say it, but she was hinting. I turned around, I looked at my husband. I said, she's talking about the family. They are not going in talking about the press. Meghan is not talking about what the press has done. That's just the beginning. I said, but at the end of this, we're going to find out what's going on in the house. And what's really going on, Eric. I said, because you can't tell me that Meghan's out there in African heat talking about the press. I said, there's cracks and there's things going on in the family. I said, this is not going to be good. And here we are. It's worse than I thought. And so, but they thought that once they came over here and got on the Oprah show and did the spare book, that we were going to be, oh my God, because Harry already says it. He says, everyone around me couldn't understand why we would ever speak to them again. And then he goes on and he says, that's why we can only do it this way, is to bring it out in the open. No, you did it for money. And you did it because your wife told you to. You did it because you're an idiot. But no, you tell Tom and us that this is the only way you can reconcile with your family is through this garbage. And so of telling everything, and this is interesting because Harry goes in and he says, they're linking and planting stories, but not just that. They are not protecting us. They're not, going against it. And then he starts talking about his, oh God, this is good. I haven't even got started. Let's continue. Because I'll start going on and on because I did the whole interview and it was good. So if you don't want to hear what I have to say today, because this might be an hour, I'm not going to rush this. This was good. I'll take a nap later. Usually I do my video and I take a nap. Moving on. Let me turn the page. Let me pause it. Think about it. Meghan's plan was for them to make us get mad at the royal family, the public, because of all this stuff they keep saying about the royal family. And now they did all of this stuff. And now we are supposed to feel sorry for them and say, uh-oh, shame on you, royal family. Why did you treat them this way? And so on. Because Harry says it. He says, oh, everybody around me says that. How could you even speak to them? In other words, he's just been talking. Since he met this woman, he's the leaker. He's the planter. Moving on. He says he wants reconciliation. I put reconciliation and then scared and terrified. Harry said when he left there, he was scared and terrified. That doesn't make sense to me. He acted like he was in the army or in the reserves or doing what he normally, like he was serving his country. And that he was scared and terrified because of whatever and wanted to come home. No, what is you scared and terrified of? That Meghan was going to leave you if you didn't get her out of there? That she was going to commit suicide like she said? Like what was you so afraid of? Like your family was holding you hostage? No. And then he talks about how he put the proposal on the table and that gets ignored. Or no, it didn't get ignored. It got turned down. And then they decided, okay, since they're not listening to us, Because that's what Harry makes it seem like, the family, they're not listening to us, they're not understand. There was one scene, I'll get to that. I want to lead that one to the end. It's good. I don't want to skip ahead. So, okay, Harry, he's terrified and he's running. Because I started off, Harry is running. He's scared. And you never really know what he's scared of. And I'm looking at Tom, the interviewer, like, okay, waiting for him to ask him, what is you afraid of? But he was asking the right questions, because Tom was like, well, didn't you do this first? Didn't you treat them like this? Didn't you and Meghan said the family was racist? I didn't even see that part. I think that was at the end. He talks about Lady Benghazi. Why would he talk about that? If they're not into the press and into everything, why is Harry even commenting on that situation? As if he has a close encounter. Then they lie and say how they love Susie Hussey, his aunt, and all this other stuff. Meghan don't love her big toe. She loves her big toe. She doesn't love anybody else's. There's no love there. Like the tutor said, she has spurts of happiness and then it fades. And you can't keep her happy long. It's not one of those constants. And this about her trying to reconcile and put a relationship with Charles and the kids, it's crass. It's stupid. It doesn't belong. Kick it out and don't listen to it again. In the program, the picture in the program. Yes, I mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. I think it was very distasteful. Now I don't want the book because she's in there. And that sucks. It all boiled down to, do I want a book with her face in it? Do I want to open this book and see that? I just think that if he needed to put a picture in at all, then don't. It should have just been him and Catherine. Or just him and the kid. Who's in the royal family right now? They're not here. I don't get it. I don't know. It really put a damper on that. Anyway, moving on. Back to the book. Okay, so then Harry goes on to say, and he says, I put this down for myself because I had a question for you guys and for myself. Why would Catherine deliberately not want to be or have a relationship with Meghan? Wouldn't she try to make a great relationship so they can get along and support their husbands in their endeavor? Because I don't see Catherine trying to help Meghan unless she wanted to help. And obviously she didn't. My nails suck. But in Spare, Harry likes to portray Catherine as someone that is definitely mean to Meghan and all this other stuff, because he brings up the baby brain. And my first thought was, Catherine, if she said what she said to Meghan, like, don't say that, there was nothing wrong with her saying that. Meghan should have said, okay, you're right, no disrespect, whatever. Because if Catherine felt that it was something that she didn't want to hear or thought it was disrespectful, no matter what it was, Catherine felt that and she should have apologized and moved on. It shouldn't have been in the book. But Meghan, I don't know what the purpose was for it being in the book, but everything that they wrote was petty. It was stupid and petty and childish. And Tom challenges him on that, like the fight with his brother. He says, that fight that you spoke about in your book and talked about things that your brother, I'm getting to it. Because William tells Harry not to say it. Don't tell Meghan. Harry sits on Tom's show and he tells him about the fight. And he acts like he's the bigger person in this. And he was shocked because they've had fights in the past, but not recently. Well, then, if you're having fights with your brother, your father, everyone around you, and your friends, and it wasn't doing that before you met her, why, Harry, why so hard? What was it that changed your life to where now you and your brother has become enemies? Because after he tells us he's not going to tell his brother, because he tells his brother, he says, I won't say it. He's a traitor. You said that you wasn't going to tell, and you told everyone. And so, no trust. Trust gone. No one trusts you, Harry. And people are running from you. They're scared of you. It's the other way around. They're running from you. And you are paranoid. And you have allowed this woman to come in. He says that when his brother said something about Meghan, I'm sure she didn't like this part. Because Harry in his book tries to make it seem like the family didn't accept Meghan right out. Then when he sits with Tom, he says that they did. So he tells us, he says, William was happy. He says, when William was telling you to slow down or whatever, Harry, then was he telling you not to marry her? He says, no, he wasn't doing that. He wasn't telling me not to marry Meghan. He was just, pretty much just giving me advice. He actually said that. So then why do you put it in your book is if no one liked her, no one accepted her. She was this actress from whatever, and that, she was just not going to be accepted regardless. He contradicts himself. And I really wanted to hear what Harry had to say. And that's what he said. And it's interesting how he blames his family throughout this interview. Babe, is that a bumblebee in the house? Let me pause it. So, I believe Tom tells Harry this. He says, Harry, if you read... No, either his brother or his family, someone tells Harry this. He says, if you start reading the tabloids, Harry tells us this. He says, about his family. He says, if you start reading the tabloids, you become obsessed with it, and it becomes a part of you. He says that about William and why they were leaking stories and planting. But no, Harry, it's you. It's you and Meghan that are obsessed with the tabloids. And Tom said it. You guys are the one that's suing all these people. You're suing you got 3 lawsuits, 2 or 3 lawsuits going on. Then Harry goes into that. He justifies everything that he has to say. There's a justification. But this justification was that they're obsessed. No, Harry, you and Meghan are obsessed with reading the tabloids and what's going on. And for whatever reason, I believe you're obsessed with getting it so she could have a reason to rush back over here. Because right now, what is she doing? Getting ready to talk about, I heard she was going to get ready and start her memoir. What's she going to do? Talk about her popularity, how bad it is, and how hurt she was behind that, and everybody's supposed to run to her side and feel sorry for her. She put her reputation on the line as she did when she lied, when she did all this trickery stuff, and thought that we were going to be like, poor Meghan. She's waiting on that moment. Let me move on. I can't help but to think that Harry compares his life to William's. He starts talking about how Kate just had Louis, and William was off with his family and how wonderful it was. What he was doing. He was doing all this stuff with his family. And then Harry just sounds like, he says, but I was the spare. He starts dissing himself. No, the only one person to me that I think that keeps making him feel less than is Meghan. Because before Meghan, Harry was looked at as a very prestigious, nice, global, he had it going on. Harry had it going on. I respected him. I liked Harry. I thought he was even cute. Yeah. But Prince isn't. But he has lost his stripes. He's lost his appeal. But no. It's interesting how he does that. And then he talks about when they were in school, William pretended like he didn't know him. So, my sisters did that all the time. When I was little, their friends would come over and they would say that I was their cousin. was just mean. So Harry thought that, oh, yeah, I get that that was probably not the nicest thing that William's done. But then Harry goes on, we have our, whatever with the BB guns and all this other stuff. But no, you've had fights before. Get out of here. And then what's interesting about the fight that he has in the book is that he only tells one side. And it just gives us a little bit of what William was saying about Meghan. And Tom Bradby says, so he kind of almost hints like, was any of this stuff going on? Your brother was concerned about what was going on with the courtiers and what was going on with Meghan's behavior. And then Harry defends her, says, no, she was, they just didn't like her because of this and that. Harry protects her. And he covers her. I don't think that Meghan liked the interview that much because she probably felt that he could have pumped her up a lot harder. Well, you should have been there to hold his hand. So there was an issue with his beard. Okay, let's talk about the beard. So Harry says that he wants to have his beard for the wedding, okay? He gets permission, he can do it. And then all this about him and William being upset about Harry not cutting off the beard for a whole week. I don't believe it. Then he says that William calls him up or tells him, listen, brother, as the king, as the future king, I want you to cut off your beard. That doesn't even sound right. I think this is my version, that he asked Harry, why don't you cut off your beard so you can be nice and clean? Or whatever. That's what I think. I think it was for the benefit. I don't think that William was trying to upshine him at his wedding. It's just stupid. Because Kate could have. No, she wore a pretty dress. And she didn't do what Meghan would do. Make a scene. Make it about her. Show up at someone's wedding, pregnant, and announce it. And think that that's okay. You know what? Even if she is a narcissist, something should just be common sense. And then Sunny on The View with her stupid. I don't care for her. I don't care for her opinion. She says, this is no big deal. Like, so what? She didn't think there was anything wrong with Meghan doing that. Like, she didn't think anything was wrong with the RSVP. I just don't care for her. Let's move on. But Meghan tells everybody, I think it was Eugenie's wedding, or Beatrice, that she's pregnant. But Kate was so beautiful at Meghan's wedding. And Charlotte, in spite of Meghan's shenanigans with the dress. Because Harry talks about it in his book, that Meghan's hiding. Where is she? She's nowhere to be found when he's interviewing, when he's going home, when he's doing when he's at court. She's nowhere ever to be found. But then we see them date night. That was a joke. She's hiding. She's running. She doesn't want to be, she wants to hide from all this crap that she has done. But she doesn't want to take any responsibility. So she was pushing for an apology. And here he gets on this Tom show and tells us that this is the only way that they can resolve anything is to talk about his family in a book. And then he goes on to say, he says, just recently, we've been having communication. In other words, all the blackmail and the dirt and the book and the Spotify, all this bombshelling stuff that they've been doing for the last couple of months got the attention. They called you and said, what's going on, Harry? Why are you doing this to us? Finally, he says something to the effect that until recently, meaning until right after, since this book has dropped, we've been in contact. What? Meghan's demands? Watch how that really comes out. It came out. She has the demands. They were there. They were on the table. Sue told us today, she gave us a recap of their actual demands. And it still was on the balcony with a picture with Archie and the kids after she called the family, right? After she tells her husband to go on this interview and make a ASS out of himself. He continues to do that for her. So he goes all into this beard situation with William, blames William. Some kind of way it's William's fault that he didn't get the beard, or if I don't know if it was on or off. I don't really care. It's a stupid, petty conversation. Just trying to find little ways to go after his brother for no other reason. But for Meghan, so Harry tells us that when he was young and he put on that outfit and blamed Kate and William and said that they made him put it on. Because some kind of way, Meghan told him to say that. To blame it's your outfit. You put it on. You're the idiot. Then he comes on Tom's talking about he's taking responsibility. No, you weren't. No, you was not. You blamed your brother and his wife that they told you to wear it. Why was that important? No, that's another way that Meghan could get another dig. I call them digs because they're not bombshells. They're stupid petty digs. But here's the kicker. Let me make sure because I don't want to. Okay. Let me pause it because I don't. So the stories was coming out about Harry in the outfit. Okay, it was Harry in the outfit. So as the outfit information was coming out, Harry was called racist for wearing it. And he said during the interview with Tom, he said it was the worst thing ever. He said being called racist was the worst thing that happened to me. I was not racist and I didn't like being called that. I wrote it down. He says, and it hurt that they called him racist. It hurt. So Harry, when you called your father, your grandmother, your grandfather, Philip, your grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, your father, King Charles III, William, Prince of Wales, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the British people in the monarchy, racist. You didn't think that hurt? And still does? And still stings? But all you can say to Tom is, you guys didn't say that? Did you hear? No. Meghan told him to say, listen, if they say it, say, you did not hear me say that. I never said that there was racist. She was never going to just come out and say it. She didn't have to. Your innuendos and the way you had the conversation and the fact that you didn't come out. The fact that you went and picked up, like Piers Morgan said on his show last night, the fact that you picked up an award, Hope Award, on the basis of calling out racism in the royal family. And Harry tells us that it was hurtful. He was hurt. It was devastating. He went through something, he said. He said he had to take himself through something to rehabilitate himself because he realized that he had did something really, really bad. And the worst thing that happened to him is that he was called a racist. and it hurt. But then he calls his brother a racist. And William turns around and tells the reporter, William said, we are very much so not a racist family. So tell Meghan that, and my stupid brother, by the way. That hurt too, Harry, like Tom Bauer was saying. So you don't think you doing all this is going to hurt? Like this is not going to be painful? He says it's probably going to strike up a lot of different things. No, I'll answer the question, Tom. Yes, it's going to hurt. And it's still hurting. It's very painful. And they're trying to understand why. Why? They're still looking at Harry and trying to figure out why. Because nothing he said in Tom's interview causes Harry to do any of this stuff or to say anything about anything, because nothing happened. He had a wife that wouldn't let him sleep at night. They kept bugging the hell out of him to get her to Montecito or get her the hell out of there because she's done. And I don't want to be here anymore, Harry. And if you don't get me the hell out of here, I'm leaving you and I'm taking little Archie with me. Because Tyler Perry has already set it up. He's coming. And I'm getting on his plane. Are you coming? What was Harry going to do? Say no? Oh, no, I'm not getting on the plane. I'm going to... Harry had to get on that plane. Because she was in control. And Harry had nothing. Instead of telling her, listen, you said that you wanted to marry me. And that was 45 minutes ago. I'm going to give you 45 minutes. I say 15. Someone else says, we'll give you 45. I married you 45 minutes ago, and you just wrapped your arm around me and told me how that you wanted to support the kingdom, the queen, and everybody over here. And then 45 minutes later, you're done? No. What you're going to do is sit down, and we're going to ride this out. And if you need some psychological help, we will get you some. And if we need to have you on suicidal watch, we will have you on that too. But you aren't going anywhere. Not with my son. No. We're staying right here. And whatever story comes out, we're going to deal with it. And we're going to deal with the family division. And I'm going to stop listening just to you, and I'm going to listen to everyone, because your opinion is not the only one that counts. Then I'm going to get you some psychological, narcissistical help to help with your issues. Because the kids need a regular mama. And right now, this ain't regular. You are talking about a balcony. You are talking about Archie's birthday party being mentioned on something that has nothing to do with him. And you are talking about yourself all the time. And now you won't even go over there and support your husband after you set this in motion. And let me tell you something. The stories are endless. They're going back to the beginning when she married him. And they're talking about what went wrong. And it looks like it's at your doorstep, Missy. And so the success squad going to need to pay overtime. And these American entertainers, stop being afraid of the squad. You're going to miss your moment in the limelight for calling someone out from being nasty. We'll support you. But quit being scared of them. Their popularity is shot. That's not a secret. South Park said her soul, she doesn't have a soul. That's not mistaken. That scares me the most about Meghan, that they said that that's not in there. Empty? God. Let me pause. Harry said this, and I thought this was so sinister. He says, if you're silent, he said, silence only allows your abuser to continue to use you. He was talking about his family. And I don't think it was the press. I think he was talking about the royal family. He said his abuser. And so basically Tom was asking him, well, you know, that's, you guys decided to leave or something like that. And he mentioned something about, well, or why did you decide to come out and say all this? Well, if you be silent, this is what he said, if you're silent, your abuser continues to abuse you. Is Harry saying that his family was abusing him in a sense, verbally or mentally or whatever, you know, for not saying anything about Meghan and defending Meghan to the press? Because that was the thing. He said they wasn't defending them. They wasn't defending them, and they threw them to the wolves, and the press ate them up. That was her biggest argument, something that can't touch her. But she doesn't look at the tabloids. If you don't look at it, then why are we talking about it? I think Harry saying that was such a strong, wrong thing to say, and to say that he was abused or being abused. Like this was the worst thing that ever happened. Like right after the wedding, all hell broke loose. You know what? The picture that Charles put in the program, it is 6 months after they got married. She acted like she was so happy. So 6 months after you married him, y'all still in blitz. So when did you get suicide? Right when you got pregnant? I love you guys. I know it's 42 minutes. This means it's going to be one video today, okay? Okay, I talked about this. Harry wants reconciliation, and this is the only way he feels like he can get reconciliation, by doing a book and coming out and spreading lies and talking about it to everybody through Tom Bradby. And so Tom says, do you really think that they would want to reconcile with you now that you've spoke to him, spoke to your family and treated them like this? And he said, this is the only way we can do it. And he said, they've been in contact, which means that, okay, we did talk about it. But the point is that they did all of this to get their abuser's attention, obviously. And so who told you that your family was abusive, Harry? Your wife? And you believed her? And so now you're calling this is the only way your abuser can be exposed. And then after they're exposed, then what? You get what you want from them? You guys left. So what were they doing to you that was so horrible? What else were they doing to you guys after the Oprah show that you guys needed to continue this stupidness? And I heard that she's coming out with a memoir. She better tread lightly. It's just, she will be on an island. She will, no one will want to talk to her. No one will she will be exiled. No one wants to hear her talk about the royal family. And all of this behind the scenes and the demands, and when she comes out and gives her side, we heard your side. You called them racist, and then you wanted to be on the balcony. You turned Harry against his entire family and call them abuse. You tell your husband that his family is abusive. Where is he getting these words from? The Real Housewives of Recaps is really, oh God. Go over there. Okay, I probably didn't get it all, but I'm going to put deep dive on Tom Bradby's interview. I didn't really go into the racism because I talk about that a lot. So I wanted to talk about some new stuff. So we already know that Harry's an idiot. He doesn't talk about racism in his book, though. At least I didn't hear it because I was going pretty fast. Last thing I want to say is when Harry tells us that he goes to the funeral and his brother, I think this was in the book, that his brother tells him to look at him. And William tells Harry to look at me, Harry. And he says the way he does it, it's really aggressive. Whatever, Harry. And he says, Harry, I love you. William says, I love you. I love you, Harry. I want you to be happy. He said, I want you to be happy and I love you. I was like, whoa. Wasn't that an olive branch? Wasn't that reconciliation? Wasn't that Harry's moment to start coming together with his brother? Okay, I'm going to say it again because I want to make sure I'm clear. Harry tells us that during Philip's funeral, he grabs him and he says, hey man, I love you. You know, I want you to be happy. And then Harry turns around and says, Harry says, you're stubborn, which made no sense. What does stubborn have to do with his brother telling him that he loved him and that he wanted him to be happy? And then Harry goes on to his little, you're stubborn. And then Harry says, he grabs him again and says, hey, I love you. You know, is she up? And so my point is that wasn't that the moment for Harry and William to reconcile? Your brother looks you in the face. He says, I love you. I want you to be happy. And then Harry gets aggressive and says, you're whatever. And then it goes bad. And then Harry comes back to the United States and nothing gets resolved. There was never going to be a reconciliation because Meghan wanted to always keep it that way. But the problem with that is that Harry loves his family and Harry loves his country. You can say what you want. I don't care if he's going in there, you're going to see his toe and that's it. Harry's struggling. Can't tell me he's not in a dark, dark place. He wants to support his dad, whether he go to the concert or not. I probably wouldn't be in no partying mood. But I don't care. I just think that he needs to show his father that he's not totally off the cliff and that he still loves his father, because you want your kids to say that. And that's showing it by showing up. But you know what kind of wife he has. The ones the kind that make excuses. Every time something comes up that doesn't suit her, if it's not right or whatever, she comes up with an excuse. And the excuses is not good enough for her behavior. Harry has been doing this alone for a very, very long time. She has been in hiding, except for the latte and some other stupid crap that is about her. Her latte, her tig, her memoir, her stuff, her podcast. Meghan, ever since they've been in Montecito, it's been about what Meghan wants. Vanity. The cut. I mean, you name it. And then her debuts, Oprah. And then those award things that she gets. And then, whatever. The privacy. There's no privacy. There's none of that. Then they went to New York, got that stupid award because she wanted to be on the red carpet. What an idiot. What an idiot. I would have said, Karen, listen, Thank you for the award, but we will not be receiving that. It just don't look right. Not since Harry just has come on TV and said that the family wasn't racist anymore. Watch next week, right before the coronation. It's going to be busy. Story after story after story. Listen, tell me what you guys think. This was called, I'm going to put it up there. This was 50 minutes. A deep dive into Tom Bradby's interview with Harry. Have a great day. Love you guys. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And leave a comment.